Awesome. Welcome, you guys. Hope you are doing well. This is going to be our mental health slash mindset call. And I have two amazing people here helping me do this today. And that's going to be Brooke and Lauren. All right. So, with that being said, let's get right into it with this PowerPoint. All right. So, again, this is going to be more focused on mental health and mindset, less about business wise today. We kind of just want to take just maybe even if that's 30 minutes out of our day right now, kind of de-stress, sit back, listen. I really encourage you guys take notes on some of these topics that we're talking about. So hopefully you can just take, even if it's just one thing away with you today about this call, and start to implement it into your life daily. Because if we try and take everything that we do in our life, and if we take every piece of knowledge that we gathered from this call and try and implement it and basically just our whole life immediately, it's never going to work. All right. So taking like one small step every single day is really going to make kind of the biggest difference. So with that being said, Lauren, the platform is yours. Go for it.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Still after a year being in the business, I still don't really know how Zoom and everything works, but that's fine. That's
Complicated.
I mean, even starting this business, this whole thing, I had no clue what it was all about as well. So as I was a person, yeah, so this basically, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. So I'm 19 years old. My name's Lauren. I'm English, but living in Spain, in Marbella. So what I really wanted to talk to you about today, is focusing on your goals and not others, like not other people's visions and stuff like that, because I can totally relate to something like this because I was a person who had no ambitions in life. I had no clue what I wanted to do. So I was super, super lost, and just seeing what other people were doing, like, oh, she's going to this uni. Oh, she's doing this work now. Oh, she's doing that. I need to maybe do this. I need to maybe do that, but not actually listening to myself and what I wanted. Okay, maybe it is like sometimes, like I'm still super young. I don't really know what I'm focusing on right now, but just trying and being open to new things is something super important that I wasn't a year ago. Especially that helped me a lot with the business, just being more open. And to find your purpose in life, you have to be more open, and it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. Like Ryan said, it's something that is a process that takes time. I was a person who needed everything to be done right then and there, but that's not how it's meant to go. Like, small things you do every day is what's going to bring you to your big success. And focusing on, what you really want in life, not what other people want for you. Sometimes, yes, people can give you some suggestions and find and help you, guide you, but at the end of the day, if it's not something you're happy with, then you need to look for something else. You need to look for something new, something fresh. I was a person who, yes, struggled so much, and I would give up so easily because I didn't believe in myself. And that's something that I think as well loads of people are struggling with at the moment. When everyone is on their different process and different path in life, some people may have way more experience than you, so you can't compare yourself to other people's goals and other people's journey where they are right now, because they obviously still started like you, like they started from zero, they started from scratch. And that's what we help you with, and help you gain that knowledge during that journey in whichever way you like, because this business is specifically really helps you basically do what you want to do, personalized to your lifestyle, which I love. Like, I absolutely love that, how you don't need to be told when to do something. You can do it whenever you feel like it, and you're your own boss in this. So you basically, if you want to make that change, you can do it, and if you need that motivation, if you need that dedication, that's what we're here for as well. So you're not alone in this business. There's so many people out there that just like to encourage you, which I find that was super hard for me in the beginning. And just finding people all around the world with the same mindset really helped me also just gain more knowledge about what it really was about. Because I was a person, as I said before, I started from not even knowing what it was about, just because I had no ambitions in life. I had no clue what I wanted to do. I was always in the hospitality industry. I didn't want to be working for someone else. I want to be going for my goals, being my own boss. So that was something super important for me, which I think some can really relate to. But yeah, thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. I know a lot of people definitely needed to hear that. And I always encourage everyone, again, go out, network, share your story with everyone else who's in the team and who's not in the team as well, right? Sharing your story, not only will you kind of create a deeper connection with your current partners, but sharing your story, you may be able to relate to a lot of potential customers as well in this business, which is really cool. So awesome. With that being said, then, Brooke, it is all on you. Thank you.
All right, hi, my name is Brooke Chermak, and I'm just going to briefly go over the importance of self-identity and our internal dialogue and kind of just our everyday, what we tell ourselves. And we all know it's important, right? But for my entire life, we've all heard, oh, like believe in yourself. But I always just thought that was kind of cheesy, to be honest. Until this past year, it just really hit home for me. And I'm 23 years old. A year ago, I would not have believed that I was even talking about this, let alone presenting about it. And I would not have thought that I could successfully start a business and make it in sales. And yet here I am. So right now I'm reading this book by Ed Milet. If you guys have heard of him, it's called The Power of One More. So good. I really recommend it. And basically the whole thing is on the point of the ultimate guide to happiness and success is for you to just take that one more step in your business, that one more step in your relationship, in fitness. And our identity, the definition of identity is the thoughts, the concepts, the beliefs that we hold as the most genuine parts of our inner being. And so our identity is shaped in our childhood. And it's all of the good and the bad parts of what people told us. And I mean, people aren't perfect, right? So we've all just taken that in. And as we've gotten older, we've conformed to it. And so, for example, I mean, I'm sure we all had like the the childhood bully when we were a kid who they told us one thing and that just stuck with us for the longest time. But once you're aware that you can change your identity and your beliefs about yourself, self-awareness is key for honestly any success in life. And so in the book, Ed points out that we have to be cautious and very intentional about what we say about ourselves. For example, you have someone who lost 30 pounds and they look awesome. And then all of a sudden they gain it all back. And that's just because they believed that they were not that fit, athletic, healthy person. And so they just went back to what they were telling themselves. And so the way that I really focus every day on my self-belief and my internal dialogue is honestly putting Christ first. That's just changed my entire life. And also just reading books, filling my mind with positive music. I mean, I went through a period of my life where I was just listening to sad and depressed music, and I thought I was a sad, depressed person. And then when I changed my music, a lot of it honestly is worship music right now, but it's just really helped a lot. And through podcasts and relationships as well. I mean, if you are believing in yourself and telling yourself like, hey, like I can accomplish this in my business, I can, make this many networking connections, but you have someone in your life who's just so toxic and telling yourself you can't do that, who's in your inner circle, it's just going to have a really negative effect on you. And the Bible says to guard your heart. And so whatever you pour into it, you're going to pour back out. So if you're always pouring positivity, I mean, no one's perfect, right? Like I'm not perfect, but if you're always pouring positivity in it, then that's just going to flow throughout your life. And so all of this takes a step of faith to be bold and say, you know what, like, this is what I believe about myself. I know this to be true, and it's not what someone else is telling me. And one thing that has gotten me through this year is if I don't take this step if I don't take this step in my business, in my belief, if I don't change this, what is the rest of my life going to look like? And one of the things that Ed says that really stood out to me is changing your identity is the key to changing your life. And the brain just works on what it's told. So, for example, if you just decide you want to buy a Tesla and all of a sudden you just see Teslas out in the streets, well, of course, because that's what you're telling your brain you want to focus on. And that's just what your brain is going to focus on. We have this thing called our reticular activating system, the RAS. And so what it does is it filters out all the things that aren't important. So if a Tesla is important to you, it's going to see Teslas. So anyway, identity and belief in yourself is just, it's key. It's key to life. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Brooke. I haven't really heard that too much. So again, that's something new, that's something fresh. And really thank you so much for both you and Lauren being on here and kind of giving a little bit, I guess, of insight on what you guys are really almost, I don't want to say struggling with, but what you're struggling and how you're able to overcome it. All right. And again, that just goes along with your testimony and everything that you guys have gone through and kind of been able to revamp it, which is really, really good. And now I'll actually go on and talk a little bit about testimonies. All right. So as I mentioned before, when you're really wanting to connect with a person, whether that's going to be if you're face to face, or if you're on Zoom, or if you're over on Instagram or Facebook in the chats, it's gonna be sharing your story, right? You guys all know the saying, story sell, right? So again, share your testimony, but also share your testimony with your partners. All right. If you guys have known each other enough and you know kind of what this person's about, but don't know their full story, take a Zoom call instead of it being a working call. Take a call and just kind of go back and forth and be like, hey, what got you actually into this business? What's your why? What's driving you? Right. Because and I also do believe that we should all kind of know our testimonies and know how to express that to others. And again, what makes a testimony an impactful and meaning testimony, right? Because we're all here writing our current testimony, especially us who are younger. Maybe we're not even 20 years old yet. I'm 20 years old. Maybe some of us are a little bit older and we're still writing our testimony. All right. But every single one of us, we have a story, right? Make that story known to those who you trust. All right. And as you write this testimony, and when you look back in 50, 60 years, I guess one of my favorite thoughts from my comedian, Gabriel Iglesias, definitely my favorite comedian, right? And he's like, would you rather live 100 years and just know that you're safe laying on your deathbed and you went the safe route in life? Or he puts it in the perspective of chocolate cake because he's a huge Mexican man. He says, or would I rather be 50 years old and die, but I had all the chocolate cake in the world and was extremely happy while doing it, right? Obviously, I don't think I would want to live a boring life all the way to 100 years old. So with that, I would kind of go his route of maybe not the chocolate cake per se, but again, have an impactful testimony, make it exciting, and make it your own. All right. So the answer of what makes a testimony an impactful, meaning testimony, I believe it's about the tests you went through. It's not about all of the wins you had in life, but it's about the test you went through and got out of. That's why it's called a testimony. All right. So again, life, yes, is about wins and losses, but I primarily think what makes a good testimony is you overcoming whatever challenges were set in your way. All right. So kind of moving on, when it comes to testimony and coming up again with all of these stresses or challenges that we see every day, what is stress? All right. So again, it's that feeling of anxiousness being I guess overpowered by many different events that could be going on in your life. not knowing what to do. But there is good stress and there's bad stress. Okay. Bad stress is going to be kind of those uncontrollables that we worry about too much. Okay. So something that I can control is getting my work done. Okay. And if that's something that's stressing me in my life, I can get that done. So I should know that that's going to be something called good stress. All right. That we want to focus on. Okay. It's that flight or fight response in our brain where it's like, for me, like I have an essay due for school this Sunday. I haven't really started because I've been very, very busy with this business, right? But I know come later today or even tomorrow, it's going to become that flight or fight response. Like, oh, I need to get this done. Okay. And that stress is good stress. Okay. Because it's a controllable. There we go. It's a controllable. And with that, if you are stressing and we are basically not taking this and looking at it as good stress, we're going to be conditioning our body to look at it as bad stress, and we're not going to want to do that action. Okay. So like doing our daily to-do tasks, right? In this business per se. If you look at this as super stressful and that you don't want to do it, you're conditioning your body and telling your mind it's okay to feel upset at this task that I don't want to do. All right. And you'll never grow from there, right? Rather switching the way you're thinking of, hey, I get to do this. I get to hopefully make an impact in someone's life today. I get to set myself up for financial freedom today. And again, that's not always the easiest way to think about something, but it's turning that little portion of stress of getting your daily to-dos in and making it kind of that fight or flight response. All right. And if you react positively to that fight or flight, that's where growth happens. Okay. And that can look like a number of ways for instance, our daily to-dos. Get a friend, do it on Zoom with them. All right. Go to coffee shops, change your scenery of how you're doing your daily to-dos. Go do it somewhere else. Right. Make it interesting. Don't make it just like every day sitting in the same spot of your house on your phone and getting tasks done. All right. Because again, that's never going to be fun. And your state of stress is going to be in that bad state of stress. So I really, really encourage you guys, identify what stresses you are dealing with on a daily basis, whether it's that fight or flight response where you have to get it done, or if it's just stress that's kind of out of your control, right? So I really, really encourage you guys, identify what stress you are kind of dealing with. Now, I'm a big factor of morning routines, right? And this is how I basically can kind of steer myself away from stress, at least in the morning, right? Because this is without a doubt what I have to do every single morning. All right. And this sets me up for success every single day. All right. So what looks like to me may not look like to you. We all have different lives. All right. So I usually wake up between 5 to 6 a.m. And then I get directly into the shower. All right. And no, I'm not one of those who is like, take a cold shower. Right. No, I'm praying in there. I want this to be an enjoyable shower. So if you are able to do a cold shower and enjoy it, props to you. I've never met someone that's been able to do that. But showering and praying is kind of like what I do when I first wake up. And praying in the shower, I don't know, at like 5, 6 a.m., the sun's not up, warm water, it feels good. All right. From there, go straight into my skincare and brushing my teeth, that whole routine. Then once I'm done there, I make my way out to the living room where I have a book called The Daily Stoic. It's roughly $15 on Amazon. And if you do want to get this, do not get the Kindle version. All right. Having just like a thick concrete book that is actually something tangible, especially with this read, is going to be very, very impactful. All right. So pulling up a Kindle or pulling up like your iPad or something to read like first thing in the morning, it's just a huge distraction to me. All right. I'm not one of those who puts their phone away for like the first 30 minutes of the day. I wish I could, but as you guys all know in this business, moves fast, right? So you need to talk to a lot of people at all hours of the day, especially for people who are like on my team. We interact with a lot of people who are over in Europe. So when it's 6 a.m. here, it's like 3 p.m. over in Europe. All right. So that's why I wish I could do the not looking at my phone for the first 30 minutes. Usually I won't look at my phone, obviously, when I'm doing showering and praying in my skincare and teeth routine. But once I'm done with like this daily stoic read, I'll grab my phone as I get my vitamins. All right. So every morning, taking my capsules, taking my other vitamins. From there, I go out and do morning cardio, which means usually I'll just go on like a mile, half mile walk. And if it's daytime, usually at this time, it's not daylight out yet. But for those of you who wake up a little bit later and say you're up at like 7:30, first thing I say that you should be doing is going outside. All right. Get that vitamin D in your system as quickly as possible. That's amazing natural caffeine to have. All right. It's going to be spiking a lot of your dopamine and basically the levels in your body that makes you awake. So your endorphins as well. And having vitamin D first thing in the morning is going to be very, very crucial if you want to be awake and if you want to be alert. From there, I'll usually go into my meetings. Usually I'll just have one or two before I go ahead and work out. And then after the workout, I come back and eat. All right. So I'm not one to say like intermittent fasting is what you should be doing or shouldn't. Do what you will with it. The eating, I usually just don't have time in the morning until I get back from my workout, which I'll have usually the perform shake. But yeah, with that being said, I kind of just put around this board, the screen, kind of different things that I keep in mind when I do this daily morning routine. For me, make your bed. I don't care what others say. It's a first win of the day. So again, always make your bed. There's a reason they do it in the military and all branches. So I always say make the bed. Some entrepreneurs also say do this. Some also will say, I don't have time. I just come back and my bed is how it was when I woke up. And I'm like, okay, that's your thing. So again, I'm a sucker for making your bed. And then again, eat, don't eat before your workout. We all have our beliefs, but again, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to eat or not eat before your workouts. I'm not here to really say what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to that. And then last thing, don't skip cardio. Okay. So that's my saying. Just never skip cardio. I kind of do it 5 days a week. And then the other days I will again just kind of have a higher intensity workout. Just because again, when you do implement cardio, not only is it going to be helping your cardiovascular system, but if you do cardio in the morning, it's another source to kind of wake up those endorphins in your brain, sends a lot of dopamine to your brain as well, which means you're going to feel a lot happier, especially if you do it in the morning. All right. Last slide that I'm kind of going over. So as you guys know, this business, we move fast. All right. And it can get very, very stressful, as I talked about before. All right. But what I like to do every single day, because I am usually up at 5 or 6 a.m. and I usually go to bed at midnight. All right. So with that, my days are very, very packed. If you are on my team, you've probably seen my schedule at one point or the other. It's kind of crazy, especially right now. I'm a double full-time student, which means I'm taking 23 units in college, which is basically the amount of 2 full-time students. And then again, with Juice Plus, working a lot with there as well, and then personal training as well. So again, for me, being very, very busy, I kind of like to have something small that I look to every single day that is kind of just getting me through the day, right? And this is going to be just continuous dopamine in your brain. All right. So with this, even if I'm trying to just get through like my daily to-do tasks, if I'm trying to get through my tasks in school, I know at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to something, whether that's going out to a movie, whether that's being home and making a meal I really like, whether that's going and getting a workout in with one of my close friends, right? Having something to look forward to that's small every single day will keep you going throughout the day to get you there. All right. So I really recommend you guys try and find a daily dopamine, I guess, source that you can look to for that. All right. And again, working with others throughout the day, be in contact. I know my team and I were texting all the time. So it just feels a lot more engaging. It's a lot more fun and you're not as isolated. And I know in this business, it can sometimes feel really isolated, especially if you aren't near team partners. All right. So text him. It doesn't always have to be about business. It can be something just for fun that you guys enjoy talking about. All right. And then going back to the thought of kind of like this dopamine, have that trip planned. Okay. So I know for me and my team right now, we're looking forward to our Vegas trip. It's going to be the level up event. And yeah, Shane, I see you. Shane's excited for this. We are going to the level up event in January at Eric Worre's. All right. And that Vegas trip is something that we're really, really looking forward to. I know for me and some team part for me, this is going to be a very, very fun trip. I'm really excited to go on this. And then again, I have a couple other trips I'm looking forward to in the future as well. So having kind of a trip plan for me, even if it's off in the distance, it's just something I can go out and strive for. Because again, this is just something I'm looking forward to. And I know that the work I'm doing now daily is going to set me up for this trip. Okay. With that being said, going back to kind of this long-term vision look. All right. So yes, we have that trip that we're looking to, but also what's that long-term vision that you have, whether that's business, financially, spiritually, morally, working on your character. What's that long-term vision for each of those departments in your life? Okay. And kind of just focusing on something that's greater than yourself is what's really going to help you guys daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Is always striving for these goals to hit. Okay, because again, you're and we all here are working for a reason that's bigger than ourselves. All right. So like I tell people, if your why isn't bigger than yourself, that's not a strong enough why. All right. And not to go too much spiritually, but also to go along the fact of we're doing this for the greater good of God. All right. Helping others is kind of like our passion and our goal here. So if you want to tie that back to something spiritually, definitely do that. If that works for you, do it. But I know for myself as well, personally, in this business, there are so many people that we can impact. All right. We could be the reason that someone doesn't jump off a cliff. We can be the reason someone doesn't get diabetes. We can be the reason that someone isn't going to basically become in a depressive state. Okay. So yes, we're here for fitness and we're here for bettering someone's health, but there's, as you guys know, a lot of other factors that come into play when it's just like physical health, right? We have mental health. All right. So knowing every day that, hey, I don't want to do these DMs, but if you think about it of, hey, I can help someone today. We have that opportunity and we have those resources to go out and make someone's life so much better. All right. So kind of having that vision in your mind is really, really going to help you. And knowing that you're doing this for something greater than yourself is really going to kind of push it forward. And I know that's like for me specifically, that's what's really, really helped me over kind of the 2 years I've been working in this business. All right. Lastly, kind of tying back to that daily looking forward to, reward yourself at the end of the day. All right. Again, this is just conditioning our body, saying that since we went through kind of like this trial and this test throughout the whole day, whether you were doing maybe an hour of work, 5 hours of work, you still did work. End of the day, reward yourself, relax, decompress. What it looks like for me, rewarding myself is putting my phone away and turning it to do not disturb. So I always love doing that at the end of the day. And then whether that's sitting on the couch, sometimes I'll play like a video game with one of my friends if he comes over, watch a movie. So again, just reward yourself however that may look to you. And then from there, just get up the next day and do it all over again. But awesome, you guys. That's about it. Really, really glad you guys were